What up, guys? We're in. We're live. We're hot. Good deal. Hey, Michael Ray Newman here. Welcome back to another edition of the Inside Edge. I got the monster millennial as usual, Kevin E. What up, bro?
How's it going, man?
Going good, man. Good to be
see
here.
you.
Good to be seen, right? Good to be seen. Every day above ground's a good one. And I got also the rocking, bad to the bone leader himself, Edwin Britt. What up, E?
Hey, Michael, man. Good to be with everybody today.
Yes, it is. Good to be here, man. I hear that, we got the school starting up. You talked about it.
Yes, we do.
A little bit. You said you got a little one starting today. She's all ready to get the soccer game season going again, a college girl.
Yeah, the little one might be a little bit understated. My youngest one, right? And you and I both have we have beautiful daughters, and you've got a great, handsome son as well. But, my youngest is starting her junior year, Michael, in college. I know, man. I know. And she sent a picture today, and I was like, wow. And she's a college soccer player, so got all that going on. First game this weekend. But I saw your beautiful 16-year-old daughter, too.
Man, dude, I know.
What do you think?
Does she not look like her mama?
She does,
For real,
man.
though, dude. And what's really scary is I knew her mom at that age. I was actually chasing her mom, I think, about that time. I started trying to get, oh, my gosh, man. We had the 16-year-old Sweet 16 party. It lasted for like a month, but, Mom has seen it give her better and better and, giving her these parties and just keeps going. But, dude, we've been having these epic parties with the kids. We got a pretty big little backyard, and the Sweet 16 was awesome. We had 2 bounce houses. We had a Dunkin' booth. We had a big swimming party. We had a dance floor. We had a DJ. We had a mechanical bull.
Oh, of course, in Texas.
Yeah,
I mean,
man,
come on.
mechanical bull set up there. And then we had the smoothie bar. And I thought I was going to roll in a taco truck, but she wanted Taco Bell. So I was like, it was the biggest Taco Bell expense ever in the history of Midlothian Taco Bell. And that was only like $250 because we had tacos for over 100 kids that showed up to the party. And then, Banana Paul came next door, and my brothers, everybody came, so the family came. So it was a lot of fun, man. But that Sweet 16 and realizing that she's a junior now and you don't have a lot of time left with them. And I know and I've been through it with my 2 older ones. Now we got grandbabies, but crazy, right?
Sounds like life by design to me, brother.
And I'm about to start it.
That's right. And Kevin, he's coming in.
I'm at the very beginning.
Yeah, he's going to have one coming up here in January. So it's going to be, it really is crazy how you look back on it. That's what it is. And our coaching platform is called Life by Design, guys. If you are listening to this, no matter what platform you're listening to it on, you need to get a mentor. You need to get a coach. You need to read some self-help. You need to get personal development. That is the number one thing you need to do above everything else. Because if you don't design your life, somebody else will. That's just a fact, man. If you want to own the ladder, you want to climb the ladder. There's nothing wrong with climbing somebody's ladder. But no, if you don't have somebody pouring into you and you go into whether you're in middle management, because no matter what position you're in your whole entire life, you are a leader. You are in leadership. And it's a management 360, leadership 360. And that's where you may lead above. You manage your manager that you're working for. You got to go below, pick the people up to make sure they come up and come under you and do a really good job. Because if they push you up, rising tide raises all boats, right? So when they raise you up, are the people next to you want to be able to manage? It's okay, whichever it is. I mean, we coach a lot of small businesses, but we also do a lot of corporate gigs, Evan, when we go in and train and explain how we talk to. I mean, we cover the whole blanket. I think that we were recently called, man. I want you to congratulate you. Give yourself a high five and right there, man, because. We were we were called the most inspirational duo in America. In America, what? Yeah. Most motivating duo in America today. What do you think, Kevin? You got some of that?
I would agree.
The power of that, Michael, is oftentimes when you see a consultant or a speaker or even a coach, they're a one-man band, and there are a lot of great coaches out there. There are a lot of great speakers out there. But it is a rare find to find 2 people who are as connected as we are and yet uniquely skill set differently, right?
Yep.
And who can bring it together. You got to have the right egos to do that. But what that does is gives the people we get to serve 2 banks for the buck, right? 2 perspectives. Oftentimes it's a shared perspective, but perhaps a different way of looking at it. And I know that I am biased, and there are a lot of great coaches, but I would suggest to our audience, you need a coach, but you need Edge Global to be your coach. You need Michael Ray Newman and Edwin Britt to be your coach. And, man, I don't say things I don't mean. I know that to be a fact.
I would too, man. I would put it up against anything because what we coach, what we deliver is our real life experience. I mean, people understand that's real. I mean, and it ain't all pretty either, but it is truly a life by design, man. It's an LBD moment, and life by design is the coaching that we do. Mindset of a champion is the curriculum that we teach, whether it be with your marketing team or your sales team or your accounting team or your operational team, which has been big. We bring them all together, and leadership does. And what it does, it creates a collaborative approach, and it's competitive as well. I mean, because they're leaders that float to the top of that. So that's what's so important for you guys to have a mentor, have somebody. And when you listen to our podcast, when you go through these things, I want to make sure that you make it about you. You got to make it about you, man. Make it about you and what you do, and you'll educate and validate. We always kind of start at the beginning with educating and validating. That's all you'll do in your entire life, no matter what you do, is you educate, which means you learn something. It's only hard till you learn it, and then or validate. Validate means, oh, I do that. Or sometimes you go, ooh, I do that. That's not good. I need to stop that because you're getting you're not getting a different result. And it's kind of like just chasing your tail, but you've got to get that personal development in.
And I think we're in a unique opportunity right now, Michael, unprecedented, and we don't spend enough time thinking about it. We all know we just came through the pandemic and what that did, the shift that occurred in our culture, how we do business, where we do business. And people are still now more than ever. Mindset of a champion is more important now than when we wrote and developed it because people need to figure out how to reconnect and come back together and have that collaborative vision. And when you can do that working inside the same building, it's a little easier. But when you're not, and I don't know that we're ever going to get back to everybody, all hands on deck. I think we need more of that. But if you're a small business, you're a mid-sized business, you're a big corporation out there in America, you really need to entertain bringing Mindset of a Champion in. What happens is the culture gets ignited. People believe they are a part of something bigger than themselves, and everybody starts stepping up their game. That's how you build a championship culture. You got to get operations. You got to get sales. You got to get management. You got to get everybody working together. That way the finger pointing goes away, the excuses go away, the mentality changes, and everybody now has a combined vision. Everybody has a role, and when that happens, responsibility increases, service levels increase, and you know what? You cannot compromise quality when it comes to a championship culture.
That's exact, man. That was so well said, and we have testimonials at the yin yang to back that up.
Absolutely.
I mean, in HR development, vice presidents, CEOs, salespeople, operational guys that run the line in certain industries because we've been in front of big people, and we've also been in front of, small companies that have 15, 20 people, and then 6 people and we have guys that come in and coach us that are on solopreneurs that we coach. They come in and get coaching from us that are solopreneurs. And what we found, Edwin, what you just said is what you discovered in that. We found that people are pointing fingers sometimes. Operations was, man, if our sales guy just go sales guy say operation just doesn't deliver. And leadership says, man, I can't get anything out of my accounting department because all they're going to do is always crunch my numbers and they always bust my balls. Well, that is what we find. And when you get people working together, everything goes up. And that's your internal customer is what we pay attention to. And if you pay attention to your internal customer, who's that? That's the people that work for you, work with you. Those are your internal customers. It's also your vendors. If you treat them as part of the family and you bring them into the family and understand you don't build a business, you build people, and the people will build the business. Your external customers see that, and it's a feeling they get because people call, and we can walk into a place, and a lot of times, and I've walked out and said, dude, that just did not feel good in there. You ever done that? You ever walk into some place and after you say, ooh, man, that just feels heavy. You can just feel it sometimes, and there's that dissension, and we've been in it. We've coached, small companies, Edwin, we started coaching them at 10 people, and now they have, I'm thinking one in particular, that now they have 28, 30 people on their company.
And you've said it, you coined this phrase, and I think, again, more than ever, people need the will, the skill, and the refill. And we can pull people together and engage them at that level. But talk a little bit about will, skill, and refill, Michael.
Well, the biggest thing that's missed all the time is the refill. The will and the skill is pretty simple. Even people that are into personal development or do listen to, and Mindset of a Champion addresses that. We have a virtual master class. It's $7. If you guys edgeglobalinc.com, not .net. Boy, I messed that up. edgeglobalinc.net. That's what inc.net. If you guys get a chance, go check it out. Get the $7 a month master class. It's virtual. That can be your dipping the toe in the water when you want Edwin and I to come see you in person or do any keynotes or anything for you guys. But will, skill, and refill. And so many people, especially leaders and salespeople and parents, and coaches, all these people forget the will. Will, skill, refill is pretty simple. I've always said this: will, skill, and refill. Well, you got to turn around and let's see if I can remember how to say it. Will, skill, and refill. You got to be able to develop the will and the skill to I can't remember how to say it now. I totally forgot it.
We'll come back to that.
Oh, man, will, skill, and refill. I told you I wanted to hit on that. You set me up perfect. I can't remember what it is. Will, skill, and refill. Refill is the most important, not the will, because it's easy to develop the will. We go crazy, and what happens is we run our battery down, and the refill is what we don't do. We skip over that on the weekends because sometimes the will and the skill, you've been super busy all day exercising your skill level because you have the will, and you develop it and get better. But when the weekend comes, you shift and put that energy somewhere else. We talk about energy management, which you're going to talk about in the next podcast. But the energy management, you don't really refill yourself. What you do is go out and just shift that energy and spend more of it somewhere else.
Michael, I've been practicing what you have taught me there, and it has been really freeing for me and energizing. And that is, I go into my office earlier than I typically did previously. So I've made this shift in habits. You know, the old adage, you show me your habits and I'll show you your future, right? Mm-hmm. And so I go in early and I have a home office, right? So I don't have to go very far. I don't have to navigate traffic, right? I might be in my workout shorts.
Oh, man.
But,
I got a violin for you.
Yeah, I go in there and what I don't do, and here's a mistake so many of our audience will do. I do not turn my computer on. I don't even have it up. No distractions, because oftentimes an email is somebody else's agenda, and I'm quiet, and I'm going to take 20 to 30 minutes and refill myself. I want to challenge myself to learn to educate and validate, either learn something new or refresh something that makes me better, equips me, grows me. And man, that 20 minutes of the refill done consistently will absolutely change the dynamic of what you're trying to accomplish. You'll be fresher, your energies will be better, you'll be more creative, and I call it the home court advantage. And when you have that first interaction, you're going to be better than the person that's not. You're really missing out on the refill if you're not doing that little. And what a little simple step.
Yeah, it's so simple, guys. And here's what I don't. The person that I am, like my routine today, is not the routine that it was 20 years ago. So many times I skipped the refill and I just was going for it, man. It's
right.
And you had to, and you look back and you don't even know how I really did that. And I didn't until I met with you. And there is a process through it. Even though I validated that process, I made a ton of mistakes, but I didn't spend enough time in the tea in the process. But to refill myself, that very first few minutes, it doesn't have to be 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be, but it's no distractions. It might be reading something out of a book. It might be having your quiet time. It might be your prayer, your meditation, whatever that is. That refills yourself. And what that lets you do is be the best version of you that day. Think about that for a second, because if you can't be the best you can't give the best to the people that mean the most to you, which is your family and people that are within your family that work for you, your extended family. And for you to be able to develop the skill, you've got to refill the will. And that will to win gets beaten down so many times from outside people, outside sources, telling you you can't do it, telling you you shouldn't do it. But to be able to sit there and sit back might be the most important thing that we teach, is to make sure you make a little bit, like we talk about these podcasts. Maybe it's this podcast, the next 15 minutes that you come in to sit down with us, 15, 16 minutes, and you give yourself the opportunity to listen to this, meditate on it, take your deep breath, and now we're ready to go. It might be tough, but we got to go. And here's what do you got to do? How far do you have to go, Edwin?
Just as far as you can see. And when you get there, brother, you will be able to see further. I promise you that.
Man, I almost said I promise you that too, man.
We said it together.
I almost said it together. I just lifted it with you, but that's exactly right, man. It's so important and powerful to do that. Will, skill, and refill. Remember that.
What I loved, Michael, that you said that really jumped out at me is it puts you in a position to be the best version of yourself that day. Every day is going to bring a different set of circumstances, a different set of challenges. You and I feel differently in every day. Dynamically, we don't always feel the exact same, but we are called to give our best version of ourselves that day. I really liked what you said there.
Oh man, and that's what it's all about too, is giving the best version of yourself. And so many times you rob yourself because, I can't go spend my whole quiet time today. I can't sit there and do my whole refill routine that day. That's okay. If you can only get a couple of minutes in, take the time to do it. It makes a difference because not every day I'm going to be at my best. There's certain outside things. Sometimes you're arguing with your spouse. Sometimes you're worried about a child. Sometimes the business numbers aren't where they need to be, and you don't know how you're going to get your marketing piece or your sales staff to perform better. All these things that are going through your head, if you don't put it on you to make yourself better, get your personal development, get your coaching up, you're going to miss out, and before you know it, you're going to turn around and somebody else is running your life opposed to you.
Michael, what I love about you is how raw and relatable and natural, and the audience knows that all over America. But, I just don't think it's appropriate for you to use the cuss words on the podcast. And you use the cuss word, the same one, 3 times. You said the word can't 3 times in a row. And I just don't think that's appropriate. And I want you to just, apologize to our audience, or at least explain that. Would you please?
Dang it. I didn't say I can't, right? I said you
That's
can't.
right, that's
okay,
right.
I was about to say, man, I cussed, but I didn't say it was me and I couldn't. Hey, man, can't is 100% a cuss word. Since we opened up talking about our little 16-year-old and our little college junior, I'm going to tell you a quick story about can't. Miss Daniel, my little Lily's teacher, she's 2nd grade, went to school, and Lily drew can't to write on the board. She walked up and she told Miss Daniel, I'm not going to be able to write that. And she goes, my dad told me that's a cuss word. And so I went to the first little meeting with him, and she goes, come here, what the heck? Can't's a cuss word? And I was like, I was so proud of her. I was like, that's right. So thank you for calling me out on it. I didn't cuss and say I can't do something. It's you can't. Remember, will, skill, and refill. And if you go back, rewind this, catch it up again. I know we had a little bit of had a little stumblers. One take Edwin's never, but we're raw. We're real. We're not going to turn around and go edit any of this out, guys. We'll meet you where you are, and you get to see us where we are that day. And if you can't remember anything else, just remember what my granny used to tell me. Just be nice. Just play nice and be nice, because people don't always remember what you say, but they always remember how you made them feel. We'll see you, E. See you,
brother.
me.